Today we're in Amsterdam and I'm here with the guys from With Confidence.
What's up, man?
It's all right there. I need your help in. I'm on my own, and I've been thinking that I'm so lost. I'm slowly sinking out on.
Alright guys, so good to have you here. You're here today in the Melkweg supporting Mayday Parade on their 10-year anniversary tour for A Lesson in Romantics. Before we go to what you're doing, I'm wondering, 10 years ago when the record came out from Mayday Parade, do you remember that?
I feel like we were pretty young when it came out. Do you remember when it came out?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
like, I was 15, 14.
14?
14,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I always liked Mayday Parade, but they were never in like the top 5 bands I liked. And then I remember my friends played this album when I had a car, so maybe a few years after it came out.
That's
I was
kind of
like-
when I got into it.
I was like 17. I think we were the same friends, and they would play that album a lot. And that was when I started getting into this album.
Yeah.
Because I did a little research on your Facebook page and it says that Mayday Parade is one of your musical influences.
Yeah.
So it must be pretty exciting to share a stage with them today.
It is, man. It's like, it's very crazy to like, I guess, watch their set every night and they're playing the songs. Yeah, we listened to it like 17, 18, and it's just kind of like a surreal feeling, you know, that sometimes we forget, like, hey, these are the bands that we were listening to when we were teenagers.
It is weird to be playing shows with a lot of bands that we listen to now even. Like when the Finer Things came out, we sweated that record.
By
We
the
love
Stage
like
Amps, yeah.
we love like Knuckle Puck, and like these are all bands that we are
And now
doing
I'm just, like, friends with,
full tours with. Yeah, and they're just friends. It's cool.
Yeah.
So 10 years from that point to now, you got your own debut album out and you are, I guess, working on something new.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're definitely working on something new. We got the acoustic guitar backstage. We've been writing pretty much for probably the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably 3/4 of the way right now with an album, and we're planning on recording it in LA at the end of the year. And I think it's gonna be really great, man. I think it's a step up from the last album. So
Yeah, you recorded your first album in Australia, where you come from, right?
we did, yeah.
So why the second album in LA?
It felt like time for a change. We'd done 2 EPs and an album with our producer Stevie, and he's amazing. And we knew that we would get a great second album with Stevie, but we just felt like from a creative perspective, it was time to challenge ourselves and work with someone new. I think we thought it was time to go over to the US and try writing an album out away from home and comfort and really just put ourselves into it.
You said you've got an acoustic guitar with you on tour, so you're writing a lot. How is that different from when you just sit down, you've got some free time, not on tour, and write songs then? Does it, yeah.
It's definitely a different experience. I think like for me the difference is on tour it's more like, I guess, ideas here and there that I'll just try to get down, and then when I have the time I'll flesh those ideas out. And I guess, make time to flesh those ideas out. But I guess when we're at home, we can do it as a full band, you know, in Josh's garage where we do all our band practice, and we can just flesh it out as a band. Or if we're just at home and we, you know, in our rooms, and we can dedicate a whole night to just writing a song. It's a very different experience, but we've kind of got all aspects at the moment. You know, there's a bit of everything. And I think they're all strong in their own ways. But
Has there surfaced some song that is like really experimental for you, or you didn't expect to write something like that?
I'd say we're still narrowing in on the last little, maybe like 20% of the album that I think is still missing. And it's like, there's so many songs and ideas. I really like, it's cool because like, I can see which ones are definitely going to be on the album, and then it's like, which ones are going to fit together and how's it going to work. And so I'd say like, we're still working it out. Like we've just gotten so used to riding on the road, and for me it's changed a lot, especially because I play drums, so I'm kind of a late player in the songwriting process. So I mean, when we used to just start from scratch in my shed and play for 8 hours on a Sunday afternoon or something and just jam and have fun, now it's like Innie and Jayden will bring in more complete ideas, and it's like more about working in a van or in a green room or like on the go. So it's cool. It's a good challenge. And I mean, Innie's going to actually move over to America, so that's going to change the writing process again. We're going to be probably emailing each other ideas for album 3. I mean,
it'll be a completely new thing again.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah, so
Fresh.
second album stress is not like really happening with you, or is there a little bit like?
It's there.
I think, I don't know, for me it was there. I was definitely at the point where we were kind of at the halfway point where I was like, shit, like I really hope we can get this across the line. But I think at the moment we have enough for it to be a good album. But we need to make it an incredible album, you know. I don't want to write something that's good. I want to write something that's incredible. So I think that's where we're at now. But I'm not as stressed because I know that we have something that's there. But now the stress is just making sure it's incredible, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said you were recording the album in LA, so you're maybe drifting a bit away from your homeland.
Yeah.
While in Australia there are surfacing so many good bands nowadays. You got
right.
Between You and Me, Stand Atlantic, what's the other one? Eat Your Heart Out.
Eat Your Heart Out, yeah.
So is the scene there changing, or is it just that mainland Europe is getting a lot more of taste of what's happening in Australia?
I think it cycles. Like, I think as we started being a band, a lot of the bands from the previous cycle were either stopping being bands or like calling it quits. And I think now it's happening all over again, and we're seeing a surge of bands coming. It's really cool because like Stand Atlantic, Between You and Me, bands like Harbours, all those bands are going to do really good things, and I can just see them breaking internationally. Really, like, I know like they'll be out here your way soon.
For sure. I think there's a international interest in Australian bands right now. I think we've seen that, you know.
Even Hopeless, they're like
Hopeless are like, they've signed a bunch of Australian bands recently, and I think like there's just more interest in Australian music right now, and it's kind of a really cool place for us because we've got, you know, like Between You and Me, Stand Atlantic, bands that are, I would say, like good friends, and now we're seeing them hopefully come across the world and start to like really do the thing, you know.
So Australia's slowly taken over.
I think it will. I think we're getting there.
All right, so after this show, you've got a couple more dates with Mayday Parade, and after that, you have some time off before your tour with Knucklepuck in USA, which is really cool. But how do those days in between look like for you?
Oh, I mean, we've got, what, 5 days? 5 days. I think we're going to be in LA for most of them, so we might see Mike Green again at the studio, drop by, say hello. I'm sure we'll say hi to all the Hopeless stuff. We love we love jumping into the office and distracting them from all their emails and stuff, and I really don't know. We haven't really planned it out heaps.
I think we'll probably just try to get into a rehearsal studio or something, and then, you know, flesh out the songs as a band, because I feel like that's sort of where the magic happens.
Well.
So small holiday plans aren't really there.
Yeah, nothing too.
No
touristy.
time. We can have a holiday when we're dead, man. It's fine.
Well, we've got Halloween coming up. Are you doing something with that?
Well, we're going to be in the US. Is there a show?
I think there's a Knucklepuck show maybe that night.
We got to dress up.
We're going to try and, I'd say we'll try and hire some costumes, do something weird.
I'm excited.
As what will you dress up?
Oh, you were a cockroach last time.
I was a cockroach last year. We played a show.
Are there photos from that?
Yeah, there's videos actually. In our Archers video, there's a few clips of that show. Luke dressed up as a slutty schoolgirl. That was pretty nice.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
I think I was a chicken, but
You were a chicken.
I think I took the costume off because it was so hot and I was
so
dying.
hot. I was sweating.
It was made of feathers.
Bad. I feel bad for whoever had to wash those things.
Yeah, they would smell pretty bad.
Yeah.
So in Holland, we don't really celebrate Halloween. So do you have any tips for people who just want to do that but are like beginners in that?
We're kind of beginners as well. Australia isn't massive on Halloween.
No?
No,
Not
so
as big as America. That's
America
for sure.
loves it. I remember trick-or-treating as a kid, and, you know, every second house you would go to, they'd just be like, oh, we're not prepared. We're in Australia, you know?
We don't do that.
We don't do that,
celebrate that. Yeah.
But that's why we're excited for an American Halloween. It should be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, sounds really cool.
Come back next time.
Yeah, we'll just talk about your experiences. So about your next album to conclude, is there something you can, a little hint you can drop about the next album, when it's gonna drop, or when we'll just hear something new from you?
I mean, all I can say right now is that we're locked in to record at the end of the year, and we're going to hopefully have some stuff early to mid next year.
All right. Are there any interesting people working on the album? Maybe some featured artists?
At the moment, no. Mike Green is our go-to producer, and all of the songs are just written by us. There's no co-writes, and I think that's about it right now.